Okay, where am I going? Guess we'll try and get ourselves some Gore Tusky liver. Not a Gore Tusk, dude. I'm pretty sure I get my executed on level. Okay, the classic Westfall leveling of just basically kill everything. Quite over leveled, but the experience gain's pretty fucking nutty, so somewhat expected. Can't wait to get them out though, shit. Painful, dude. Alright, I wonder if I have Leatrix. Is that a thing that I have?
Hello, see you later.
Hello, Leatrix? Do I have that? No, that's a pipe dream. Definitely need some sort of way of auto handing in quests, which was rested experience, but I don't trust that fucking thing anymore. It was leading me wrong. Damn, that's loud. See if we can turn it down a bit, shall we? So I don't fucking kill myself. That'd be most good. Alright, where are my sandbags at? Done Westfall too many times. I know there's sandbags. Oh, Pog, sandbag. Alright, all these guys are looking relatively easy to kill, I think. That shouldn't be too bad. Can't wait to get that execute fucking thing. Oh, there we go. Just the one addition of Victory Rush has completely made Warrior Mode super fucking good. I should probably level his arms though, right? To be able to get sweeping strikes. I might end up respecing some stuff. I feel like that would be the play. Can you hurry up and kill him? Thank you. Jesus. I like this effect. I wish we had that in retail actually. Which also is going to be pretty exciting. 11.1 should be, guess to a lack of a better word, soon-ish, maybe. You little cretins running away and shit. I don't even feel bad that I haven't invested too much time into researching retail, to be honest. Oh yeah, we're super high level compared to half of this shit. Most of these quests are going to be green, but that's alright, it's not too bad. Means we can piss off to Red Ridge once we've gotten a little bit higher, I think. Might be the play. Ricky, what's up? World of Warcraft and actually plays well. Yeah, we're on the WoW train at the moment. Just casually leveling up. Like, basically, the situation where I'm in is like, I know I need to start touching WoW again in some capacity, and I still don't quite know what that will actually look like, but Season of Discovery is much more palatable than regular Classic, just for me, because it's super slow, and it's probably more manageable if you get on when it's relevant, but if you're not there from the moment, you know, it's like go time, then yeah, I find Classic very mundane, to be honest. So unless if you're a part of it because of everyone else is a part of it. Otherwise, yeah, no, fuck that. Whereas SoD's pretty good. I enjoy it for the most part. And most importantly, it would be nice to kind of fuck around with a little bit of the SoD, especially with Phase 7 coming out on next Friday, I believe. So we don't have much time. I doubt I'll actually hit max level already, but it will be still fun. So WoW hasn't touched you in 3 years. Oof, damn. You are... Yeah, part of me does kind of feel that way as well. Like, I don't know how best to describe this, but I'll be honest. There is an element of me that's like, if the end of this expansion leaves WoW still feeling kind of a little bit, you know, like I'm not 100% sold, I could certainly see a world where I kind of just go, yeah, maybe I just wouldn't, you know? I'll just go play other games. Which is a very weird thing to say because I am an absolute WoW Andy. And if WoW's good, then I would rather play this game than anything else. But my big fear is like, we're going to do the same thing as we always do. We'll get our ATC, there'll be some Mythic prog, which will be fun because now that I'm in a Mythic guild. And then we'll do Mythic Plus. That's probably going to be better than Season 1, but still not great. And I just don't think they're going to do any fundamental changes to Mythic Plus, which I tend to disagree with personally. And then it's just going to leave me feeling like less and less enthused as each time goes on. I was going to level as Fury, but I feel like I should just commit to the arms. So, I mean, we're going to have to refund points anyway, so we'll just keep going with what we're going now. But next time I go back to the trainer, we'll see if we can swap over to armsy shit. So I can get sweeping strikes, because I'm pretty sure sweeping strikes is pretty much all god tier mode. Especially with how easy SoD leveling is. What about War Within Expansion 2 and 3? I mean, again, I'm kind of relying heavily on... Like, here's the dumb thing, right? I'm also well aware that I'm probably going to play Midnight on release, because same with every WoW expansion, it's going to be like, this time's going to be different. Like, every time, dude. But a big portion of me is like... not engaging with the season is becoming much more realistic option, and purely just for the simple reason that it's just not all the same issues that have been issues for long enough. I'm not getting anywhere to the point where it's now starting to become like a I don't think they're gonna change kind of thing, you know what I mean? And the reason why I'm like not sure how to say is because, I mean, brutal truth is it's kind of sad, because a big portion of like my gaming enthusiasm has always been WoW, so it's like this weird realization that I'm kind of going, yeah, maybe there is a world where I just wouldn't play it, to be honest. Stockholm Syndrome phase of the, basically. I mean, you know, kind of not wrong, to be honest. Like if PoE comes out, the best thing from here is that I engage with Season 2. It's okay, but it's like kind of maybe there's a portion of it that's a little bit meh. And then PoE gets some major updates or fully releases in the downtime between that. And then I can see myself like full sending it, right? And at this stage, there's wiggle room enough that I would probably play retail WoW seasons in tandem with like a PoE 2 season, unless if they conflict, in which case I'll just pick one, right? But I can, like, unlike ever before, I can definitely see a world where I'd opt to prioritize a different game over WoW, and that's weird for me to say out loud for sure. So yeah, it's just kind of weird. But for now, I could do some PoE 2 shit. I really do want to get a warrior up, but part of me is also kind of knowing that at some point in the next month, I expect the new season to sort of launch, the new league, and with that will be the economy reset and all that stuff, and I'm assuming that will also have some new content in the way of maybe a new ascendancy or a new class to fuck around with. So I'm using this opportunity where I can to just try and enjoy WoW a little bit, and then sort of assessing from there, right? Oh, this is a big daddy pool. This is gonna be a spicy meatball. Come on, get him dead. Get him dead. You gotta want it dead. Alright, this is definitely very sketch. Should be fun, because, you know, Victory Rush is OP. Alright. Resist my asshole. Present. Alright, there we go. Let's heal ourselves up with that. We can. Oh, I don't have shield match anymore. No! So yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. I don't even know what our main game would be, and I think the moment I kind of accept that I wouldn't deep dick WoW anymore and only play that is truly when I realize kind of variety is probably a bit more, like have a few games under my belt and then rotate based on the season, which I think is perfectly fine. Like, I envy the people that are already in that position that do that, to be honest, because World of Warcraft definitely has a lot of holes in terms of its engaging kind of gameplay to do, especially when you have like a patch that comes out and you're just like, okay, new patch, cool. The ring progression was literally like 5 minutes once a week. Like, it was insane. It was ridiculous. And then on the flip side of that, you have all the casual content, but the casual content's not really what I played for, right? I wouldn't not engage with the PvP or anything like that. But the problem is, one, PvP's dead, and two, everything's so split. And I think that's actually one of the biggest mistakes WoW is now making, is it's dividing the player base so archaically. In terms of, you've got Classic, you've got SoD, you've got friggin' thing, and it's like, any type of way that you want to play WoW, you've got it. Enjoy. And it's like, well, that's sort of not the point. Like, why can't you just make something else better? Neil deGrasse Tyson has this thing in regards to, like, he's the science guy, right? And his analogy is, if we're going to like invest all this resources to colonize another planet because we're worried about Earth being destroyed, then wouldn't it be better served to spend said resources on just fixing Earth, right? And that's sort of the philosophy I realize I'm now having about retail. It's like, you've been told and you've seen by the metrics that, you know, there's a player base that would enjoy retail, Classic. So would you not then want to provide elements that make Classic players enjoy retail? Like, that just doesn't make sense that they wouldn't do that, right? Whereas now it's just like, all right, if you like Mythic Plus, that's sort of its avenue. If you like raiding, that's its avenue. Now there's delve, so if you want to not have to speak to people, cool, we'll give you that. And by splitting up the player base so much and trying to provide so much in the way of, you know, segregated content, yeah, it's kind of left me kind of going, you know what, we're kind of getting the raw end of the deal here, and they're spreading shit too thin. And it's costing them in the long run, I reckon. But to be fair, that long run that it's costing them seems to be a product of time. So what I mean by that is, like, we probably wouldn't have known. Like, when Classic got announced, I wasn't, oh shit, we're fucked now. I was like, oh shit, this will be sick. But then the consequences of those actions are only starting to rear their ugly head now, as opposed to, you know, 3 or 4 years ago whenever Classic first dropped. Because then you have the whole, like, all right, we had a PC server, now it's a Wrath server, and then Cataclysm server. So we're about to have a MOP server plus hardcore Classic, and then the reintroduction with anniversary servers. So it was like a fresh restart. And then you're gonna have the SoD stuff, which I don't know what SoD's gonna eventually turn into, and it's just like, what the fuck are we doing here? And then if you enjoy PvE, you've got the options of, you know, are we done for the pause? I think we're done for the pause. Hey, oh yeah, dude. Alright, what else we got? I think we can go do the Murlocs for their eyes, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's just kind of like, what the fuck? We're just splitting the player base up more, and it feels more like they're trying to go, okay, there's baskets. You have to hop in your basket if you prefer playing whatever your basket happens to be. Instead of going, hey, let's try and make these few baskets really good so a lot of people enjoy them. They're going, fuck it, we're just going to give everyone like 20 baskets and you just pick what basket you want to jump into. And that is what's starting to feel a bit kind of shit. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. The grass is greener when it's watered. Yeah, there you go. I like that analogy. That's actually a sick analogy. Legit. And they haven't been watering shit, to be honest. They just keep planting new gardens. And the more and more you realize that, the more and more I'm like, yeah, there's a fucking world where I probably just play WoW in a very limited scope. Which I also think is healthy as well. Like, I don't think there should be an expectation, and I'm sort of speaking to myself here, that I want to have one sole game that, you know, dictates all my gaming time. I'm happy for that to happen, but I'm realizing now, much like the Stockholm Syndrome response, right? You kind of start going, okay, this isn't that anymore. So I need to stop realizing or hoping that that will come to fruition magically out of nothing, you know? So the alternative there is just, yeah, I mean, what else are you going to do, right? You've got PoE 2, which is looking very exciting. Like, I'm definitely on board with PoE 2. It's very fun. And the only reason I'm not is because I wouldn't mind actually doing some SoD stuff, and 11.1 will be pretty soon. The dungeons and the raid bosses and encounters and stuff look really cool for 11.1, but then outside of that, you kind of going, okay, you still got stuck with the same problems, right? So it'll be very interesting to see where it all lands. Oh god, we've got lots of things and I'm scared. Ah! Go poly when one of them isn't putting out. Exactly right. You know, you can't expect one mama to satisfy you for everything all the time, unfortunately. Gotta haul yourself out, right? That's terrible. Where's my... There it is. I knew it was there somewhere. Yeah. Sad realization, but it is what it is, right? It's almost bound to happen eventually. It's like the whole people getting mad about certain stuff, and it's, you have this sense of realization where you're like, a game can't run forever. You know what I mean? Like, you have a live service game, and some people have been getting mad that like certain things will die of it. I mean, that's kind of inevitable, right? Like, WoW can't have a 50th anniversary, surely. I mean, maybe 10 years ago, you would never have turned around and said, oh, WoW's going to have a 20-year anniversary, and look, you know, here we are. But I think WoW being the exception doesn't make it the rule. And I also think that regardless of this is Spice. There we go. Alright, let's go back on this guy. Regardless of whether it's an exception or the rule anyway, it's self-defeating because of the fact that it literally just is becoming its own victim to itself the more and more expansions that go along, right? It was the whole Shadowlands was really bad, and then most people left, but you know, it still had a healthy player base, enough to keep shit going. And then it was like, oh, well, Dragonflight's just the healing expansion. And then, you know, after all that bullshit, it's like, all right, well, War Within, you know, it's just season 1. Chris Metzon's only just come back, which part of me does believe. Like, I'm genuinely in the opinion that World of Warcraft will definitely be better next tier and the tier after that compared to the first season, and I think that's fine, right? But I also realize you can't put so much expectation that it's just going to get better, because none of the evidence is pointing to that. WoW will go full free to play before it dies. I think at that point, when WoW officially does go free to play, it will be very hard pressed to find a situation where the player base of WoW is like not secretly thinking, ah, fuck, is this it? Is it time to jump ship? Because the only way it would go free to play is if it's in a really bad spot, right? Like, I genuinely don't think so. Which is also annoying, because when it's at its height, like, let's say, for example, there's a peak in Midnight, or maybe even by the end of this expansion, who knows? But if there's a peak at any point, it would seem reasonable to me that during that peak, they should actually fix their fucking game and say, all the way up to, again, we're just assuming it's Midnight, all the way up to War Within, so the previous expansion, everything up to that is now free to play. You can log in and do that shit anytime you want, and all the respective features, whatever might be included. And you only have to pay for the latest one. Yes, I know Final Fantasy did that, but it's kind of the fucking point. Yeah. And they should just leave that model. But do it when WoW's absolutely popping off and people are, you know, having a blast. Because then you can double down and, you know, dip into that free-to-play space when it's its most relevant benefit. I think the youngest WoW players in Gen Z, because kids can't afford X-Specs and monthly sub. Yeah, it depends as well, because honestly, like, and again, this is the whole gaming landscape. I know I'm dribbling shit a bit here, but you can, yeah, bear with me. The whole gaming landscape is people are vying for your attention, and it's not just a game anymore. People are much less inclined to be like, oh, what game do you play? Oh, I play WoW. And you're just like, yeah, that's my thing. So wherever WoW is, you're just a solo game Andy. Whereas because the whole gaming space in general is much more seasonal. So it's dip in, dip out. That's the gaming landscape by a country mile, like a wide margin. And then it's not just that, you're vying for the attention against Netflix and different TV shows and stuff that come out. Obviously, not all people are like this, because I would consider myself not like this. I'm not a, ooh, is Netflix gonna take away my gaming desires because this really good show's on and, you know, it's vying for my attention against what? No, I'm just gonna game no matter what, right? I only watch TV shows or get into anything when I'm really, really fucking bored. Like, I have to be next level fucking bored and nothing's going on in any games for me to be like, well, I guess for the next couple of weeks, maybe I'll, you know, check out a TV show or something. So it's not everyone, but it is a thing. I would definitely say that much. And yeah, you kind of just left going. It's a multi-game world, you know. 90 Day Fiance gonna take away from PoE2. Oh my god, can you imagine? Fucking Jesus. Married at First Sight. Sorry guys. We're getting full despo. Oh, I can't carry anymore, but I need them. So let's drop. Oh, that's silver's worth. Do we maybe want to keep that? Flask of oil. I gotta figure out what I want to drop. Oh, rough stone. Easy decision, dude.
Inventory is full.
Oh, your mum's full. Sack of shit. There we go. Alright, let's go sell some shit, shall we? Yeah, even now, part of me is questioning, do I just sit on retail WoW? And that's like the afterburner where I'll just log in, I'll do some Mythic Plus, I'll do some raids, and it'll just be a fun time and we're all fine? Or do I rely on and then start focusing on other games and stuff, right? Just for, yeah, reasons. Or do I kind of just go, well, now with this new sense of freedom, you know, just try different stuff out. And that's where I'm sort of at the moment, right? SoD has always been interesting, but I've never really kind of given it much emphasis because I'm like, oh, if I was going to play WoW, I'd just play retail, right? Whereas now I'm much more in the camp of,
Need help?
I mean, retail's literally not going to have anything major going on for it for a while, I would say. That is technically slightly better, so let's equip that bad boy. Do we have any more? That's a main hand, we don't need that one. We got rid of the cloth one there, that's also a main hand. We may as well just sell all this other shit, shall we? Don't think we need this spider core anymore. I'm like desperately trying to make sure I don't sell the wrong shit. Think boar intestines I might need. Let's sell the greens. Okra definitely. Flask of oil I'm pretty sure as well. Hops if I go over to the north side. I probably won't need to worry about, but we'll still just in case. Murloc eyes we definitely need. Haunch meat can piss off. Small eggs can piss off. Bye. There we go. Looking a little bit nicer. And let's reapply our Rooney wounds. Just the chest, I think. Yeah. Warbringer is OP. I need a... Oh, we'll go back at 18 to have a look at what we're rocking for spells. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I do feel like there's this weird kind of middle ground that's been not served very well. In essence, it's like the mid-core gamers, right? Because you've got the casual camp, which, again, each of these camps have multitudes or multiple angles that they're being weighed against, right? You could be casual by based off time. So I'm only getting 3 hours a week to play. That's casual by nature of gameplay time versus I get to play 20 hours a day. But then you've got casual in terms of skill. If you're very bad and you're only able to do like mythic 2 to 5s and you die at 6s because you're terrible at the game, then it doesn't matter if your metric of time is high, you would still be sort of casual in nature if your skill level hits a bar and just doesn't improve ever again, right? And so you could be casual in that nature. And then there's also levels of casual based off the content, I suppose. And then, I mean, realistically speaking, you can treat every content as a hardcore. Case in point being like, you might be a speedrunner that is, I'm doing the content that is casual, which would be, let's say, for example, mount farming and transmog farming, right? That's all I do. That's what I enjoy. I just want to collect shit. Cool. That's quite casual in nature, but you could approach it from a hardcore aspect where you're min-maxing speed, running gear, and that kind of thing. And then the hardcore camp is the same. There's multiple metrics that are constantly, imagine hitting skill count. I mean, people do every fucking day, dude. There's definitely people out there that are just never going to get better than what they currently are. And it could just be a mental block of they don't care to get better because you don't need to approach games in a way of, you know, am I improving at game? Beep boop. If not, quit game because why would I keep playing? You know, like it doesn't have to be that binary, but some people like to play like that. Like I play because I want to be good at the game, right? I don't want to be some fucking piece of shit at it. It would make me feel bad if I was really bad at the game. You know what I mean? And for me, I think that falls into line with just social etiquette in general. If you knew you were really bad at a job, like let's say you keep spilling fries at McDonald's or something, you know, and you're just clumsy and you were just performing poorly at a job, you would feel bad that you're letting down the team. At least I would. And so that's how I measure my metric of gaming. Like I don't want to make other people's experience really bad because I am bad at the game, so I'd always want to try and be good. But then you've got single player games and shit, right? Where who gives a fuck? You're just gonna enjoy what you enjoy and it's fun. And they've added delves and stuff for that reason, right? You can take shit at your own pace.
Not enough rage.
You wouldn't care if they don't find it. I mean, good point. What can I say? Yeah. It's just interesting because I would consider myself, and I would love to know how many would fall into this category of like a mid-core gamer. And I find that mid-core gamers are probably in the camp where it's like 1 or 2 of those metrics are limited, so therefore they would be considered like casual metrics. But then the other metrics would be more hardcore, and that's what sort of averages you out to mid-core. So I would say for me, my game time is the limiting factor because obviously I've got a full-time job, kids, missus, blah, 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 all that shit. So my time is the limiting factor that makes me sort of sit pretty in this mid-core kind of level. Despite my skill level, I would say I'm better than average. But that fluctuates with how much time I invest in the game as well, right? If I've played Mythic Plus for a month straight because I'm trying to get gear and stuff for raiding, then at that peak point, I'm going to just naturally be better at Mythic Plus than I would be right now if I just logged back in and tried to start doing shit. I'll be way worse at my light rotation and shit. And then the things that I choose to engage with, so Mythic Plus and raiding, they have avenues for a hardcore approach. Whereas the skill level, like I said, I mean, I think I'm better than average. And therefore the limiting factor is the time, and that's what kind of puts me in this mid-core gamer. Whereas I think that's a lot of people now, to be perfectly honest. There's just one aspect that is the limiting factor, and they sort of slot into that mid-core gamer thing. And yeah, it's kind of sad because I just don't think we're being served very well. Like, we're being underserved as a category for sure. Which is why people like don't like graveyards. You know, you're not respecting the player's time because it's like the graveyard runbacks are annoying. The amount of trash that you have in raiding is annoying. The roster boss bullshit, which is why people have spent the last 8 to 10 years almost now. I think back in BFA is when I really started hearing about it. Every so often, people always bring up the whole 10-man mythic raiding because it's just easier to manage. You're being respectful of someone's time. Mage Tower, such a huge success because, again, it was just go in, do this difficult content. There's very little barrier to entry. Respecting people's time. I'd say you're a mid-core classic WoW gamer. Oof. I mean, again, yeah, agreed. Classic WoW though, I mean, I would barely call this classic. I'd call this I'm bored and dipping my toes in something while I wait for 11.1 to come out. One thing I will tell you is I'm very nervous that 11.1 is going to be bad. And then I'm just gonna be kind of done with WoW. And it's fine. You've done well. Thanks for being a big part of my life, but I'll just kind of like float away, you know what I mean? And I'm well aware that that floating away is more of a mental float away rather than a physical float away. Because I know when Midnight gets announced and it's like the day of Midnight launch, unless if some other game came out on the exact same time and it was also hype as fuck and I had to make that hard choice, of course I would pick up Midnight and play it as well, right? That's kind of a no-brainer. But it would be that mental dissociation to go, yeah, I'm not a WoW player anymore. You know, like I can separate it out. You stay subbed and that's all that matters to Blizz. Nah, I'll done sub. Like if it's not my primary game, I would 100% up sub. I've already considered it now, to be perfectly honest. I was like, do I care that much about 11.1? And could I just play like PoE and stuff? But I feel like I do get quite an enjoyment from some sort of interaction, which is kind of why I enjoy streaming and stuff. It's always been a pleasure to dribble shit with you, for example. Whereas in a game like PoE, there's not that guild. Like I've left the guild because I don't want to keep doing AETC all the time, right? I want to try and actually do mythic raiding and shit. Cool. The new guild I have, I can dribble shit in there and I'm gonna get responses and there's that gaming community there. All the old mates that I used to play with, I can 100% message them all now. And in fact, I messaged one today. And I know I'll get the response, so there's like at least some sort of a community rolling there, right? So with that in mind, that's why I'm more aligned to that whole... The community definitely does a lot of heavy lifting. Not necessarily heavy lifting, but it does some lifting, a medium amount of lifting, I suppose, for an enjoyment for a game. And because of that, PoE only makes me nervous because I'll completely lose that aspect of it. But it's not like there's not a chat in the game that you can just, dribble shit to people. But it's not quite the same as if you had a guild or whatever. And it's less relevant because... Who cares? I would probably typically play SSF or hardcore SSF anyway, so... And that's where the whole like Twitch community and stuff would be something that would easily make me enjoy most games. Which I think a lot of people like that though. Even if you're not a streamer type mentality, there's a reason that people enjoy just physically being a part of a community, even if you're not necessarily engaging with it or you're not the figurehead of that community. There's a reason that people flock to them, right? You've been unsubbed for years, you're just shitposting. I mean, fair, I can't even blame you for that. What do you play these days though? Or do you just tend to like bounce around a bunch as well? For me, yeah, I mean... The sense of freedom to be able to just play whatever seems fun and new and interesting, that sounds very cool. Like, I would hate to ever have to pick... And so far, it hasn't even been a question because I've always just preferred WoW. So it's like, oh, no question. Oh, this other game that looks interesting that I wouldn't mind playing. Oh, but WoW's on, dude. I don't even give a flying fuck about that other game because World of Warcraft, let's go, Whereas now, I'm kind of like... If I wasn't playing this game anymore, there is certainly a world that I could... play Marvel Rivals for a couple of weeks and enjoy that, right? And then a new season of something else will come out and I get the privilege of enjoying that a whole bunch. And there's all those little things where you start kind of just going, yeah, you know what? All right. That what if starts coming up there. Maybe it might be time and it will be better for me to just kind of like break up with WoW, so to speak. Which sounds dumb and cliche, but there's that element of, yeah, I could just let it float off into the distance and it doesn't dictate my life anymore. And maybe that would be the best thing for me, to be honest. I mean, I look forward to the day. And it's very interesting that so many other streamers sort of seem to share that sentiment, right? A lot of people tend to have that outlook that it's like, I can't wait for the day a game makes me want to waste its time. That's what Asmongold says. Quinn obviously has, you know, left WoW. He had a video from about 4 months ago. And it's all sharing those same sentiments where you just kind of like, yeah, you know, that time to bite the bullet thing is kind of getting more and more. Single player games are like a normie. I can't do single player games. Like, I would probably play one if, again, the community part was satisfied for it, right? If there was a stream and, like, let's say Last of Us 7 came out and everyone was like, oh my god, Pog, it's Last of Us 7. I'm just using Last of Us because that's the last time I remember actually following a streamer along for a single player journey. That was relatively enjoyable, the first Last of Us. That would be fun because, again, it's heavily carried by the community in that case. For me personally, I am not a single player game enjoyer. I don't care about the story. I care about, like, I enjoy the most when I'm doing something that there's a little bit of competition about it. Whether it's something as simple as Rate IO and things like that, you know, grinding up IO score. And having some sense of competitive, sort of difficult, challenging content kind of thing. That's my shtick. That's my jam, you know? So single player games aren't typically going to be what I would play. Like, if I had to be a game reviewer for just single player games constantly and doing that kind of, yeah, that's not going to be for me. So, but then, you know, that's why League of Legends was a big part of my life for a little while. Marvel Rivals would be something, right? World of Warcraft has it as well. Again, beat the challenging content, right? To a lesser extent, any MMO is going to have a competition level, because even in the MMO, that might come out, like if Riot MMO comes out, ooh, knock on wood, hopefully one day. Yeah, there's going to still be that element of being able to, I guess, compare yourself to where everyone else is at, which is bad. Like, I don't mean it from a level of comparing myself like, yeah, I'm better than you, suck a dick. But it's kind of like pushing yourself, oh, I want to try and be the best at XYZ. And you can still have a humble approach about it, right? This is your community right here. You know it, dude. I'll play a single player game and it will just be you for like... What if, right? There might be a moment 10 years from now where, heaven forbid, God blesses my life and I absolutely pop off and have my own little, you know, niche community where we're all got a bunch of people dribbling shit and it's good times. And we're doing this similar thing and new games come out. What if, because you know for a fact, I would totally remember this conversation, or at least I know for a fact I will. There'll be that moment where it will be very surreal having, say, what if you had like 50 people in the chat at one point, right? And the chat's flowing good, we're just enjoying this brand new game, like the the Riot MMO is finally released in 2031 or some shit, however long it's gonna take. And there'll be that moment that we're just thinking back where it's just us two literally dribbling shit, dude. It's gonna be so good. The humble beginnings. But that's the other part as well, right? Is with such a limited time frame, it's very difficult to grow a community because you basically have to be very deliberate with how you post stuff on other platforms, YouTube, that kind of shit. Yeah, that's the other thing. I think I also need to I'm realizing more and more that you need to do something that's big to get eyes on you, right? You need to be good in some way where you've got that traction to go, yeah, I was rank 1 of XYZ, or I was, you know, the first to hit 100, like you just said. Keep starting it. I completely agree as well. Yes. So I've had 3 humble beginnings because I keep starting over. I would agree with that, but also that's kind of life, unfortunately. And on one hand, I hate it. Like, I genuinely hate it, because if for whatever reason life gets in the way and I have to, you know, not necessarily take a back seat, but, you know, I get out of it. And I do the same thing with gym and shit. I have been going back at the gym. I think I'm on week 5 or something on my app. I'm pretty sure it's week 5. And I've just been going 3 days a week. I usually prefer to go every day. Like, my dream life would be going to the gym every day. And yeah, I very much enjoy it. I miss the days I used to wake up at 4:30 in the morning, go to the gym, come back, have like an hour and a half to chill with myself. And then, yeah, that life was very, very good. But it made me kind of be tired and ready for bed by 8:39, which I'm fine with. It just, that sort of leaves me with very little time to spend with the missus. So, you know, I sort of fell out of favor with that kind of thing. But I tend to do it a lot. If there's something that disrupts my rhythm, then I find it difficult to get back on, because I'm like, oh, what's the point? You know, fucking failure, blah, blah, blah. And that's just my own little demons that I've got to deal with, right? So. But I do agree to some extent that whether it be in 11.1 or whether it will be in the next PoE patch or whatever, I'm aware and starting to like genuinely really toil over in my mind that there's probably going to have to be a point where I go super ham on something, so that way my credentials help get eyes on it, if that makes sense. Get the missus into WoW, spend time together in Gold Sharing. Hey, let's go. Hey girl, how you doing? Damn. No wonder the gods aren't attacking you, even though you're a blood elf. You are fine as fuck, baby. I actually tried to get her into WoW, because I actually think the casual aspects of WoW would suit her very well, where she likes, you know, going around collecting shit. She'll probably quite like things like the garrison kind of shit, where you make your own farms and all that kind of dumb shit. Everything casual about WoW, I genuinely believe she would get into. However, the one time I tried to get her into it was during Shadowlands, when it was 120 levels. Oh, was it Shadowlands that was 120? No. When was the 120 level thing? Either way, when we started fresh characters together and we were doing quests, and it was 120 levels, and it was slow and painful. And by the time she hit like level 40, she was like, this is boring as fuck, because we're just running around doing quests. And I was like, yeah. Just to feel Legion. Okay, it was Legion then. Yeah, so that was just bad timing, I guess. And it was like I never even got to get her to end game, because she doesn't really care about story. She just likes the dopamine hit of collecting shit. So I was like, all right, well, once you get to max level, you can, you know, collect all the different transmogs and mounts and pets and all that kind of stuff. And maybe that's just not quite how she prefers to do it, because that's what she does on her phone with phone games. But maybe it's a different lens. But yeah, she won't try it again. And I was like, yeah, fair enough. You gave it a shot. That's all I can ask. I wouldn't make her try again, because I'm like, no, it's different, I promise. Like, yeah. Maybe it was BFA. I thought it was BFA, which is why I think I said Shadowlands. But yeah, because Shadowlands was when they squished it to 60, so 100% had to have been BFA. Old man, oh mate, ain't that the truth? The fact that I can still have vivid memories of like Wrath and Kata and those kind of things, and I'm like, dude, that shit was 15 years ago. I could have had a kid, and they could like be almost finishing high school, and they're basically an adult. And I'm like thinking, yeah, back in my days, that shit was poggers. You young whippersnappers don't even know what poggers means. You haven't lived. Yeah, it's gonna be insane. But yeah, I don't know. I think go ham in something, and I just need to be like really dig deep and focus on getting absolute high poggers shit out of it, right? And then try and augment that to making, you know, YouTube videos and that kind of shit. But as it still stands, if we can save up a bit of money, the plan is that I'll still be able to take the gap year, which will be very helpful. Because it was like, that was something that was always discussed. But then I had to stay home with Ledger, and that doesn't really work. So you can't like abandon a kid for 6 hours a day, you know? Generally that's frowned upon. It was risky going ham if you don't already have the free time. How do you mean? Who is Daphne? I don't know. There's someone called Daphne? You're gonna have to enlighten me. But the risky to go ham when you already have limited time. It depends what you mean by that. Because what I mean by ham is I mean focusing on a particular goal that would be a notable achievement. So like, I'll just do raid, whatever raid gets me, you know, I can push to do good in raid, fine. But if I can, you know, dig deep, so to speak, and just play a warrior and stop with the ults, stop with the fucking around with mount farming or doing other renowned shit, anything else, whenever I get the chance, I'm just playing just the warrior in Mythic Plus to try and get like 3.5 or 3 like title range in Mythic Plus. And then that gives me some credibility in terms of my achievements, right? Credibility is the main thing. Meant hammers in, getting your chew. Oh no. Well, in essence, that's kind of like trying, right? But I also don't care to... It's very weird because part of me is like, it would be nice to be able to try and get the Twitch and YouTube popping off, right? That is somewhat of a goal. And I think the correct way to look at it is not to try and get it to pop off. I think that's like you're setting yourself up for failure and it's probably not going to happen, and, you know, get over yourself a little bit. But at the other side, you also can at least approach it with intent, right? There is a medium somewhere in the middle there where you can still be intentional behind your decisions to sort of treat it like a job and go, well, no, this is a goal I have. These are the avenues that I have to get said goal. If I care about it enough, then I should be willing to, you know, put a bit of effort into it. Because if you're always just, oh, I'll make videos whenever I feel like it, and it's going to be fine, you're never going to get anywhere. And if I'm not getting anywhere, just like the whole gameplay situation where I need to feel like I'm improving, I can't just play a storyline for thing. I would also feel the same way for the YouTube stuff, right? Whereas my framing behind it is a little bit different now. I feel like I've matured in that sense where I'm not like, oh, this video has to get this many views. I don't care about that anymore. Whereas there was probably a time when I was like early 20s and shit, 10 years ago when I was making shit on the other channel, my old DK channel, where that kind of meant too much to me. Whereas I've learned now that I would care less about that and care more about, hey, I said I was gonna stream 3 times this week and I've streamed 3 times this week. Cool. And look at make the right type of goals, you know what I mean? Not focus on the results, but rather focus on the actions and go, yeah, I want to commit to doing this many times. And that's how I've approached the gym now as well. It's less about I need to lose 5 kilos or whatever. And it's more about I want to go to the gym 3 times this week. Cool, check it off, done. Next week, I want to go to gym 3 times this week, you know? But I think the right MMO launch is the best clean slate for you to stand out, 100%. I think that would be the key way to go for that for sure. In the meantime though, I also think it would be foolish just to go, yeah, you know what, you're right, so I'm just going to wait for that. And then just not do anything for 5 years. Because during that 5 years, I could be learning more about editing and that kind of shit. I could find my feet in better storytelling throughout the videos, or try and learn guides, or, you know, there's definitely a lot to learn in the interim. And during that interim, that's where I feel more confident now to not just be like, I'm going to make my 1 warrior guide for each season, which means I make 2 videos a year and then that's it. You know, and now I feel a bit more like, all right, well, just try different shit, you know? I feel less bound by my own expectations, which is a kind of nice freeing feeling, I suppose. And that's where I'm like, all right, well, if I tried to get to a decent high level of Mythic Plus, that's gonna give it a bit more credibility. And I mean, good passes on Mythic, sure, but I think rating is generally not really that great for viewership, and outside of Race to World First, you're not like getting tons of traction from your rating credentials. Whereas Mythic Plus still has that kind of element to it, I suppose. Alright, how many more of these bad boys do I need? We need one more bandana. I think it was sufficiently farmed the fuck out of this area. Done very nice. Yes, very nice. Alright, now I think you should... let me catch up. Right now I think you should be on the lookout for getting into the earliest closed alpha of the right MMO. Agreed, that would be very good. Having a good knowledge base and watching MMO's focused YouTube channel will make the right PR dude more likely to get you, even if the sub count is low. A watchable MMO focused YouTube channel. Yeah, I can see that. I wouldn't say a retort, so don't take it as a retort. But my follow-up question would be,
Inventory is full.
Isn't that going to be too much to cover all MMOs? Retort taken. Yeah, take that, retort. Yeah, I don't think I can do all MMOs, right? I think it would still be better to just focus on the one, in which case it seems reasonable that you just stick with, I mean, on focus PoE 2 or WoW. Oh, I see what you're saying. So you would say remain focused on WoW specifically, so that way, right, MMO. Yeah, consistency is my biggest thing, and it's because I feel like I don't have the authority to bother making videos on it. And again, this is a who gives a shit, my own little demons that I gotta somehow figure out like what the hell the deal is. But there's certainly days and elements of kind of going, what purpose what value am I bringing to the viewer? Well, it has to be educational or I guess, you know, entertaining. And I know a lot about warriors, and that's why I feel confident that I can make pretty decent warrior guides and whatnot. Massive room for improvement still, but I at least have that confidence to go, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. And if someone says XYZ, I'm like, actually no, ABC, and I have the reasoning behind it, right? So in that regard, I need to be able to find something in terms of content that is more than just making the guide once a season. Can't have that's exactly what I said about the Mythic Plus thing, right? Like the chicken and egg problem. Yeah, 100%. I think you need the credentials and the credibility behind you to then give you the authority to make reference to shit. I completely think that is 100% true. We should stop that and go level up our bandages real quick. That would be very smart. Smart. Yeah, completely agree. I think you need that behind you. So if I were to do that, that's where my question is, you know,
Need something?
Is World of Warcraft like significantly dying enough that, or do you just kind of stick with it because let's go, you know what I mean? But the alternative is as well is you can still enjoy other games when WoW is in its lull, right? Like I don't see any issue with enjoying PoE 2 if current retail World of Warcraft seasons are on their low point, right? And that's where I'd like to be. Like my dream scenario is that I play WoW and it's not a piece of shit, or right MMO comes out and that's my main game, and then during the whatever seasonal dips and lulls as we've done the content, that's when I would go enjoy, you know, a PoE 2 season, etc. That kind of thing. Most YouTube opinion pieces are more confidence than actual good takes. Just get like 50 stands behind you. Yeah, that's the dream. I mean, I hate to say it, but again, when I'm at work, I have a lot of spare time to like have videos on in the background while I'm doing my work. And I've watched a lot of videos of just everything from YouTube analytics to World of Warcraft knowledge increase, that kind of shit. Yeah, different games that come out. I get a lot of time on my hands to always have something trickling on in the background. So yeah, I do see value in deep dicking one particular thing, and it seems most reasonable to be WoW because that's already where I have the biggest head start. It's not like I'd go, that's it, WoW's in a bad spot, so I should hardcore or swap to PoE 2 and then become the PoE 2 person. Well, I can't say the PoE 2 person. You get what I mean though, right? Like jump ship and just start doing what I enjoy in that regard. Because I've definitely had way more fun in PoE 2 than I have had in WoW this expansion so far, without question, 100%. It was really cool to like get AOTC and stuff, but it just fell flat so quickly that it kind of stained the experience. Hard to find the balance between making content of what you like versus what's hot, because a lot of it is luck. I think that's fine. Like, I like the luck thing. I respect that I can only focus on what I can focus on, and if that's only 10% margin, that's fine. What can I do better than I did last video in this video? Cool, let's work on that, whether it's a way of editing, whether it's a way of presenting, yeah, whatever the case may be, I'm fine with that, and I respect the balance between what's hot versus, you know, what I want to make. But half the time what I want to make is also kind of what's hot a little bit, sort of. Not always, but you know, there's been plenty of overlaps where I'm like, man, this new game's come out and it's really fun. It would be good to give my kind of fresh perspective take on it. And there's nothing wrong with making a video about that than not, because it's less about the video. Who cares if it does good or bad? And it's more about using that as an opportunity to learn the next thing I needed to learn, if that makes sense. Also, I just realized I don't think did I level up my journey? Yeah, I did too. All right, good. I was so distracted then. I think Riker has the best mix of good takes and confidence while taking in other views. Oh, while taking in other, yeah. I read that as taking in other videos. I was like, what other videos does he take in? That's weird. But no, I completely agree. And I'm never someone that has a hard stance on something. I'm always happy to listen to alternative views, but those alternative views will either make me double down and kind of go, all right, I've heard your thing, I think, nah, I disagree with it, or yeah. I hate people that like go full echo chamber mode and just don't allow deeper thought and discussion. I'm much more of a long form dribble shit ideas kind of person than I am a short form spazzy, you know, entertaining clip that's 2 minutes long versus, you know, a deeper discussion about shit. Asmongold is the best example of being confidently wrong and having thousands of dumbasses agreeing with him. I mean, ain't that the truth? Yep. Cannot deny that for sure.
Light be with
Alright. We still can't get the anti-venom. God damn it. Alright, that's fine. Let's clear out these bags. It's starting to look a little bit juicy. Also, don't know how much these supplies give in terms of experience. Let's go take a cheeky look. See if we get any good experience. Because if I can hit 18 while I'm here, one, I think 18 gets me execute, which would be really fucking cool, because then I can use my proc for it. And two, while I'm here, I might even swap the points, because I feel like, yeah, just while we're leveling, it probably makes way more sense to go, whatchamacallit. I don't really care that much about, how much am I going to be stance dancing, like for real? I don't think that much, to be perfectly honest. So maybe I could just avoid that for now and just pick other shit. Amount of rage really. Oh yeah, that'll be good. Not the bad. It's mainly about deep wounds in Impale, which does ridiculous amounts of damage. So yeah, ultimately that's where I'm kind of at with my short amount of time. Once retail picks up again, I feel like that is the most logical kind of... I thought the guy... Oh, here she is. Supply officer. Why can't I hand it in? Oh, that's bullshit. Do they not let you do that anymore? Bruh, I thought you could still hand in supplies. That's really fucking annoying. Well, we'll just sell the shit then, that's fine.
What can I do for you?
I think that's the other part that I'm probably overthinking. Well aware that I should probably admit that, right? But there is part of me that's like, we don't care about the dagger or that or that or that. Part of me is definitely like, well, I'm trying so hard to make sure I don't sell anything I wasn't supposed to. Boar ribs are fine. Gortas liver needs to be kept. Alright, so got that. We need that. Let's put that up there as well. 3 to 3 for there. Okra also needs to be kept. We won't worry about any of these then. That's fine. Buy. Oh, no. I need my tuss back. Tuss me, daddy. Oh, we can get rid of that one. Light feather. Done. There we go. Overthinking is all you can do when you have this little data of what you should do. Yeah, and that's a kind of problem, right? Is you need to stop doing that. Like, I'm well aware that I need to definitely stop doing that. But I just don't know what really to do in that regard. But the overthinking essentially just comes down to, I should stick with the game. Best game in question is World of Warcraft. Do as much as I possibly can with it. Cool. And in essence, get as good as I possibly can at that game. And just go from there, right? And be consistent. Above anything else, be consistent. Cool. If not for that, though, is World of Warcraft the wrong game to pitch that tent on, so to speak? That's my part that I'm thinking about. Because my fear is that you know, deep dick a game that's kind of gonna just fall out of favor. Because if Midnight doesn't go well, it's definitely kind of game over at that point. These players' names not centered on top of heads is triggering. They should be. I don't want to see picture dents, too bad. This is now a NSFW. I'm gonna have to change my tags to mature content. Oh shit. But yeah, I don't want to like hoist my banner, so to speak, behind the wrong game. OnlyFans, Jesus. Oh my lord. Do you know how fun it would be to start some dumb OnlyFans thing that's like feet or whatever, you know, that kind of dumb shit. And you just post feet as like a dude, and people for whatever reason sign up to the feet as a dude. And you're just like, alright, cool. I'm just raking in a casual like fucking 3k a month from feet. Because there'll be some fucking perv out there. Oh, that's so dumb, dude. People will do what people do, what can I say? Zero effort feet pics, yeah, and just like live your life that way. And then you can have like Christmas themes and fucking Easter bunny feet running through a field sort of shit. Oh, fuck. That'd be so good. Completely anonymous as well, like no one's gonna fucking know, dude. It would be absolutely insane. That shit's wild. Yeah, I don't know. That's the biggest part that I probably struggle with at the moment, is the stay on WoW or don't stay on WoW. Because if I wasn't to stay on WoW, I would probably not go to another MMO until like one worthy of touching comes on. So then it's like, alright, do you just go full variety streamer where you play some League, or you play some oh, it's fucking drawing a blank, Marvel Rivals and different shit like that, PoE2, and then new shit happens there. But that is also something that I'm very wary of, because given a casual time frame, I don't think that's the right approach, because then you'll not be getting skilled enough at any of those games because you're splitting your time too infrequently, right? So for me, it still has the importance of deep dicking one particular game. And then it's like, alright, if you were to deep dick one particular game, so you get really good at it, enough to start getting at least some form of credibility behind it, then it's like, alright, if not WoW, then it will probably be PoE2, but that's a totally different genre. So then you're kind of like, ooh. Oh yeah, League would be fucked. I don't mean to break into it in terms of that. I don't even want to play League. I was just using it as an example of like variety gaming. Not so much, yeah. But variety gaming also, I feel, requires you to like multiple genre of games, whereas the only games I really get into properly is going to be MMOs or ARPGs. And even then, ARPGs is a very new thing for me, only because if ARPGs adopt, which I very much believe they should, and I really hope they do, but if ARPGs adopt WASD from now on, WASD for movement, then every ARPG just suddenly opens up. But I get absolutely annoyed at click to move now that I've experienced PoE2. It's just like infinitely better. I would never really play League as an actual thing. I have no real interest in it. It's fun on occasion to be like, oh, I'll do some ARAMs or something. But I don't really view my time in that way anymore. Where it's like, oh, I have no intent behind gaming. I just want to relax and chill and watch a stream or whatever the case is. Whereas these days, I don't really kind of do that, if that makes sense. Because if I am going to have a limited amount of time at night to sort of, you know, work on this little side hustle, hobby sort of aspect of things, then I need to actually sacrifice that time, you know what I mean? Like, you're never going to get anywhere if you're just going to be casual in your approach behind it. Play RPGs on console? Ugh, gross. That nasty, dude. But yeah, ARPGs and MMOs would be the way to go. And if I were to deep dig it, but that's the other thing as well, is like, there definitely will be a gap year at some point coming up, whether it's in 6 months from now or at the end of the year. I think most likely at the end of the year. The dream would be in 6 months. We'll see how we go. But in some crazy turn of events, it could be sooner, depending on how the kids go with school. Because basically, me and the missus will work full time, but we are slightly worried because our 5-year-old will obviously go to school, and we're essentially relying on the older two to completely make sure he's okay. Which sounds like insane, but essentially we're going to be at work until 4 in the afternoon and they finish at 2:20. So every single day, without fail, they have to walk home from school with the 5-year-old and then make sure all the jobs are done and that kind of thing. And it also depends how many times interruptions will happen with that. And what I mean by that is, do we say the kids can't get into sport after school because we can't take them to the sport because we're both working till 4, or like, where do we kind of draw the line? And money is okay. Esports only, oh my god. I mean, the kids do all game a lot, to be fair. So you're not even that far-fetched from that idea. I'm not going to put my point in because I'm going to reset the talents anyway. So let's fly back to Stormwind. Oh my god, it's Stormwind. So yeah, I think it seems most reasonable to just go deep on PoE2 and WoW. And as they alternate in seasons with each other, just play those two. That's 2 games you can get behind. That covers the only 2 genres that I would ever play anyway. And then you can just sort of, yeah, do that. But the problem is both of those games don't really lend themselves to very repeatable video ideas. Unless if you're getting a large portion of stream content that you can clip up that is entertaining in some way. And you can have opinion pieces and shit, obviously, like you were saying earlier. But, yeah. That's probably just the nature of gaming YouTube videos in general anyway, right? You run into the wall of what do I make the next video about? Probably quite quickly in all video games, video game videos or YouTube channels, etc. Unless if you're able to have a large portion of clippable shit that you're doing, and then you just splice that into like stream highlights, basically. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Crooked name. Oh, I see what you're saying now. Alright, now I understand what you're saying, and that is actually triggering the fuck out of me. Oh god, why is it doing that? Okay, it's fine. I mean, it's not fine. Nameplates. Later. Please work. Why is it so off-centered? It's actually triggering me now that you've shown me that. Fingers crossed, come on. Don't let me down. There we go. Nice. PogChamp, dude. There we roll. Thank fuck. That was actually doing my head in. So yeah, that's where I'm sitting. That's what I'm thinking. Bit of a rant. And you obviously sort of understand the perspective on some levels for sure. And I think it all boils down to just sticking with those 2 games. And yeah, just need to make consistent shit, basically. Where?
How did this be?
On the roof.
Like the undercover.
Okay, I'll come have a look at it now. Apparently I gotta go kill a spider. Sad things, literally. Oh my lord. Okay. So, apparently there was a giant huntsman on the roof. Well, not apparently, there was a giant huntsman on the roof. And then follow that up, there was a giant second huntsman after I sprayed and killed the first one. Because it was like, cool, done. And then it was like, alright, I'll go back out. Rah, rah, rah. And then Theo went to go back out. And he found another giant huntsman. And he was like, there's another one! So I had to go back out and kill that one as well. Yes, that. That work? Oh, that's way too much effort. Alright, whatever. I was trying to ban that dude, but this setup isn't making it easy. Oh well. Just Australia things. What the fuck are those things as big as your hand? Yeah, huntsman spiders, yeah. I mean, they were baby. I say baby. So they were probably only like that big. Like, if they were in my hand, they would fill up this portion of the hand. Not the whole hand, right? But there was one, and I sprayed the whole area, waited for him to fall, and then when he was on the ground, I got my shoe and smacked the shit out of it, so he's dead. And then the missus was like, alright, now go out and do your job and change over the washing to my middle son. And then when he was about to go out there, he's like, there's another one, I'm not fucking going out there. I was like, oh, fuck off. And then I looked up and there totally was another huntsman, so. And our youngest, the 5-year-old, is crying because he's like, the spider had a family and you're killing it. Where? I was like, yeah, because it's a giant fucking spider. Kids. Normally he hates spiders and he'll freak the fuck out and like shit himself. When can I get execute, by the way? I know I get dual wield at 20, that's fine. Is execute also 20? Don't tell me execute's like a way later thing. Oh, that's execute 1, here we go. When's that? 24! Oh, that's so annoying. It's so long away. 5-year-old is right. It had a family. I mean, you're not wrong. It is a little bit of a feels bad. But in saying that, if they're going to crawl into our house, I mean, I got to be dad, right? I got to protect my family from their family. So I gave him the old 1-2. It was actually just one giant hit with the shoe and it's dead. It's Australia things, it's fun. I'd reset my talents, didn't I? Alright, let's go the 3 here. Then we'll go that. I like the idea of more rage, that sounds pretty cool. And then we can do some in tactical mastery. One more in that, and then we should be able to get deep runes and impale. Yes, that sounds really nice. And then we should be good. Are they venomous? No, huntsmans are actually completely fine. They're just exceptionally scary. I think they're venomous, but they're one of those venomous ones that can't do anything to humans. I know huntsmans are fun. How did I fuck up my talent to 18? I mean, I didn't really. It was more of a, this is SoD and we're leveling pretty fast, so maybe I'll just go straight for Fury. And I was doing the Fury shit. And then in my head, I was like, well, actually, I feel like for leveling, sweeping strikes is so good that that's just not even a question. And I should just go sweeping strikes and arms all the way until 60. And then I can swap to Fury when I'm max level. Which again, I don't even know if I'll hit max level, to be honest. But it's fun. It's totally fun. Like I said, it's just doing the thing to muck around and get her done. And we'll eventually figure out our life at some point, you know? Fine. But I do often wonder when I'm like, is it worthwhile doing the PoE stuff now? Or is it more worthwhile to just sit on WoW. But even then, again, we're waiting for the actual 11.1 to come out. So that's kind of like, it feels bad. I'd as well actually myself. Oh no, I've become, well, actually. Jesus. I never thought I'd stoop that low, but apparently I've fallen beyond my good graces. Feels bad. What I wouldn't mind doing as well is maybe even like spending an afternoon or whatever. I might even do it when I'm at work tomorrow, because again, I have a lot of spare time to fuck around with other shit. But maybe even try and invest some time into just sussing out what type of content other World of Warcraft creators do in the space that I would want to cover. Like, I know I don't want to be a complete news channel. Like, I don't think I'd fit the Bellular types of Warcraft stuff, right? Or Taliesin or anything like that. Whereas it's like, okay, what do Dratnos do? What do Dorky do? That kind of stuff. But I'm also well aware that it has to come with some credential, like we were talking about, right? Where it's like, well, if you don't have said credential, then you ain't gonna fucking do shit.
I'm out of range.
What do Riker does for Diablo? What does he do for Diablo? Because again, I don't really watch Diablo, so... I know of Riker and I've seen a bunch of his videos before, but not in a very long time, so I just don't really know. It's more like news updates and shit, right? But news updates in the way of balance tuning and shit like that. Oh, do what Riker does for Diablo. Okay, so like the balance, is that apt and correct to say? Why can I not use... Oh, I'm in battle stance. Why can't I use Thunderclap? Is it just now that expensive? 20 rage. Oh, is that saying like rank 1? It is saying rank 1. I guess I need to put rank 2 in there? That's really fucking bizarre. I've never seen that happen before. Because the rest all just automatically update, right? That's rank 3, yeah. Very bizarre. I don't know. Why is sudden death on my fucking bars? That's stupid. There we go. He does a mix of news and general theory crafting. Nothing super hardcore, so enough to appeal for midcore and noobs. And he plays a lot of PTR to get content out on patch days. I think that's something I could definitely start doing more, for sure. Now, do I do that now before 11.1? Maybe I should. It is sometimes quite difficult to get into groups with Australian ping and Australian gameplay times. But I do think there is a world where I could make that work. And I think that might be the play. To some extent. There's going to be, yeah, a good time if I did that. Yeah, no, I could definitely see that. And that sort of feels a little bit Dratnos-y. Dratnos tends to be like the news and that kind of thing, which again, it's not in a way of saying, oh, someone else is doing it, so therefore what's the point of me doing it? It's more of a, where can I get ideas of what rhythm and cadence they provide, you know? But yeah, more PTR stuff would probably be smart. And I do think that, yeah, focusing more on Mythic Plus is definitely got a bigger and wider audience availability than just like raiding. And I think that's, yeah, gonna be true for quite some time. Mythic Plus just lends itself to more of that kind of content on YouTube as well, it feels like. The only downside is, again, Warriors aren't that great for Mythic Plus ever, so then you start overthinking again and go, alright, well, should I just change to a class that typically always does well in Mythic Plus? namely like a mage or something like that, or do I just become flavor of month reroll and just only ever play what's like super good in Mythic Plus? That's where I'm not sure. Or should I just stick with, you know, the actual thing I'm good at, which is Warrior? I don't know. I don't know. Blends it into his guides, and it's a good hybrid. Yeah, guides, news about anything remotely challenging in the game seems reasonable. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, check this out. Transmog got some new fucking transmoggy thing. Ooh. Whereas anything that's relevant for balancing and stuff like that, yeah, I feel like I could make that. No, I'm alright. Yeah, all good. Yeah, so I don't know. It's interesting because I definitely feel like I'd fill that niche, but again, it's mainly a question of if there has to be a sacrifice at some point, where should that come from? Is it just a matter of time investment and just stick with Warrior because that's what I know? Or should I at least go, alright, I am going to deep dig WoW because it's what I know best, but maybe I should like potentially look at a different class. Whether that's Rogue, because again, 3 specs of Rogue means one of them's always bound to be somewhat decent, and Rogues have typically always been relatively good in Mythic Plus. And so you just sort of accept the change. However, by metrics of those people that play classes, Warrior is actually one of the highest played classes in terms of coverage. Like, you'd never want to be a monk unless if you're kind of the only Windwalker monk, right? So it's that weird how much audience is available for a particular class, unless if you're the only one doing content on it, in which case then you fucking completely pop off. But something else that I've noticed as well is it could just be me, and I'm not trying to like start shit per se, and I have no ill issues towards any of these people. However, I have noticed that all the warriors that make YouTube videos don't seem very personable on YouTube, if that makes sense. Like, the top tier warrior people that run into my head are gonna be Noxiv, Byzantine, or Byzantine, or however you pronounce his friggin' name. Very good warriors. They're typically rank 1 and 2 on the warrior list, right? Juventus has some pretty good videos, I'll give him that. But even... Ooh, what's that? Oh, that's Mocking Blow. That's right. I thought I already had Swooping Strikes. I got half excited then. Different game. Yeah, even Crit Cake, I personally find it difficult to watch a lot of Crit Cake stuff. Like, I always do, because his input is very, very valuable. But he's certainly not very personable on the videos. And so I definitely think there's an area of opportunity for a warrior content creator that's has something more to offer than just Zug do this. This is how I'd be good at game. And so if I had the credentials behind me of being good at the game, but I feel like I could probably present a more personable approach to guides and things like that, then that's an avenue that I would have. But that's where I question, is Warrior the right class to do that on? Because Warriors typically never do well in Mythic Plus. Non-autistic warrior content creator. I generally think, like, no meme. I know that sounds like harsh, but I subjectively look at their content and go, I don't find them very personable. And that's just me. And that sounds harsh and kind of dicky. And like, who the fuck am I to, you know, even say any of that? Because I'm probably just as much of a spurg as them. But there's a gap in that market, so to speak. And yeah. For sure. So who knows, maybe 11.1 will be that nice little bit of a turning point. It would be nice if it was, and it's entirely up to me to make it happen, right? So fingers crossed, we'll do what we can do. This whole discussion makes me want to get on the PTR now and be like, all right, cool. What possible video? I mean, even the PTR alone is just 8 videos straight off the get-go that I could make, because it could be like a warrior review for the PTR, then which I've already sort of touched on a little bit. I need to desperately get health back. There we go. And then it could be one for every dungeon, right? Yeah, straight away, that's probably something that I should do, isn't it? Just brainstorm PTR content. Well, if I were to do anything to do with PTR content, oh, that's not the one that I was looking for. New tab, there we go. All right, so it would be, what do we have? PTR warrior stuff. So, is it worthwhile touching on multiple classes like rogue and warrior or rogue and warrior mage? Probably not, right? I'd imagine stick to your lane, whatever you're good at. If I was to change main, it would be because a different class would be better suited long term. I also don't know of any rogue players that make guides and shit, right? We like the godlike combo of a warrior that's good in Mythic Plus, sharing strats that's also personable. I mean, yeah, 100%. I find myself relatively personable. I literally spent 10 years in customer service, which sort of helps make you more tolerant of people's bullshit, I suppose. But I also, yeah, I think I could fit that niche pretty well. Warriors are played quite well. As in terms of population, like if we went, let's have a do it. We're doing this live. Why not? Fuck it. You're just becoming a part of my brainstorming stream. So if we went, WoW retail class population. I don't know what the best way to. This is like from a year ago, which isn't entirely. There's got to be a website or something, right? Here we go. There's always a website. Okay, interesting. And it also doesn't surprise me at all. Hunter being the highest. Oh, dude, that is annoying. Druids? I could never main a druid. I don't know how those freaks do it, to be honest. But warrior's pretty up there. And I know mage is generally pretty up there. Whereas if you were critiquing this list and going, what has the most possible audience versus the most likely to be decent in Mythic Plus, so in terms of like meta and that kind of thing, mage is probably your best bet. I don't know many seasons where Hunter has been good, which is surprising because they have 3 DPS specs, but for some reason Hunters have always struggled towned in Mythic Plus seasons. Druid's always in there because it's usually balanced specifically, and then maybe Resto as a backup. Very rare from the tank side, but I also don't want to play multiple roles. I've learnt that now. I specifically don't want to play multiple roles, and I'd rather just stick to one role. Huntard's is too casual to watch a guide, yeah. All you do is you hit Ferocious Bite, and then... No, that's fucking Druid, isn't it? Not Ferocious Bite. Is it Ferocious? No, that's definitely Druid. Fuck, what's the biting one? You know what I mean. That's how casual Huntars are. They're just fucking... You get your... no, it's on the tip of my tongue. Fuck. What's it called? Shit. The bitey thing. Oh, it was so close. Nah, I give up. I was like, Bestial Wrath? No, that's the thing that allows you to bite more. And I still don't know what the skill is called, Bitey Bite, which is annoying. But it is what it is. It's fine. But yeah, I think Warriors are potential, but it's not from a class population. It's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Oh, let's actually go max level only. There you go. That's actually kind of funny that there's a lot of paladins, but also doesn't surprise me in the slightest. Also, don't know whether, like, when this was last polled. All statistics are computed across the full database, which may not be accurate reflection, but when was it last done? Does it say? I mean, it does say to 2025, so it's probably updated to now, so that's kind of good, I guess. But yeah, max level only is still same sort of deal, right? I feel like Warriors probably sat in a pretty good spot. This is bloated because it's the only tank worth mentioning. So I'm imagining that between a healer tank, like they're Omni classes that do every role, right? So the fact that Druid and Paladin are at the top isn't quite unsurprising. Hunter sort of makes sense because again, they're super casual. Isn't it just called Bite? No, it's got a word. You know what? It's actually doing my head in enough that I'm going to look it up. Hunter abilities for BM. What's it called? What's it called before I see it? Because I'm just going to see it and then I'm going to be like, oh, that's it. And I'm going to feel like such a dick. What's it fucking called? It's like something stupid like Bite. Kill command, that's it. It wasn't bite at all, but it was kill command. There you go. I knew it was you make your pet do the bitey bite, but yeah, kill command. That's all you spam as a hunter, basically. But I digress. I'll click you latest stupid bar, whatever. Wait, what? The ults one? Click last updated on the bar. Last updated. Oh. Okay. Today. There you go. I don't know what these percentages mean though. 1.9%. What 1.9%? Yeah, weird. I don't actually understand what this is telling me, but I can tell that it gets updated pretty regularly, right? So that's fine. Yeah, I think warriors are a pretty good niche for that. I'm very surprised rogues are so low. This actually helps reaffirm that maybe I shouldn't be doing rogue. However, maybe that's not doing it justice because this is the worst season rogues have ever had. So maybe this would spike up a lot more if and when rogues are like actually meta. However, yeah, rogues are really down bad at the moment. To be beaten by monk, that's fucking retarded. Like, that's actually insane. So, yeah. I think, yeah, maybe warriors make rogue copium videos. I mean, you're not wrong. Again, I don't actually know of any rogue like content creators. War within rogue guide, I suppose. I don't know if there's any big dude like Dalaran, but he does everything. Like, he literally has most classes kind of rocking and rolling. Shindig, I don't know of Shindig. Again, Dalaran, who covers all the classes, so it's not quite. And then, so I guess Shindig is a rogue, very small time creator. I guess Killer Chris as well, also fine. So very small, kind of not big, well-known people. So rogue is definitely feels down bad at the moment. There's no one tricks that only play rogue and they're like the rogue specialties. Whereas that would be something that, like, I guess Peekaboo or, I mean, Zarya's mage. There's a couple of the one tricks, but they're like classic Andes a bit as well. That would only stick with rogue. Whereas there is certainly a realm of possibility where you could, you know, do that kind of stuff. Whereas I do think warriors probably got more oomph behind it. It's just a shame that typically we're never really in a good spot for Mythic Plus. And I don't see that changing anytime soon, unless if they finally decide to give us whatchamacallit. Yeah, this guy's popped off. 105k. I love his style of guides. Very short and to the point, relatively decent editing and that kind of thing. I would like to learn what I can from his guides for sure. Bashero, that's it, yeah. And Dorky does everything tank, obviously related, but yeah. His Nino's guides do very well. Or Shizzle. So yeah, I think Warrior is probably the way. If Rogue spikes a bit, then that could be an area of opportunity. Because maybe they'll come back more into fruition. I wish there was a way that you could test this by expansion or something, you know? But I don't think that's quite possible, unfortunately. I mean, you could go specs, but again, this is kind of a bit hard. Fury, see, it's third from the top, dude. That shit's fucking wild. Max level. Everyone loves their Fury warrior. So yeah, I definitely think there's an area of opportunity as a warrior to kind of fit that bill. Interesting. So yeah, if I were to do PTR warrior stuff, you could do one on every dungeon. So that means all 8 dungeons could get covered in some capacity, and just specifically speak to like, specifically, I'm typing like an idiot at the moment. Specifically speak to melee mechanics and strats in all 8 dungeons. Okay. And then you could do update to warrior guides basically, which is arms and fury. What else could you do things on? I've already done a video on items that are coming. I guess you could do raid guides, but they're all kind of done, and I feel like that wouldn't be a realm of expertise that I would have, if that makes sense. Making guides on the flavor of the month is another level of stress I don't know about. Yeah, I also don't. I just realized I died. That's actually hilarious. Let's go, dude. Strategies. Let's at least quickly go respawn, shall we? Yeah, I'm not against being a bit more flavor of the month hoppy kind of thing. Whereas I think I wouldn't hop to cross roll, so I'd never want to go from melee DPS to range DPS, even though I do think mage is like the safest pick for a class, a mythic class I've ever fucking seen in my life. Mages always have some level of like desire to have in a group, given how much utility they have and how they're all 3 DPS specs, and they don't have to worry about pet management, and they get a bloodlust. Like, it's just, everything is so good for a mage. So if you were to be okay with range, mage is just an absolute get-go. However, I think to maintain a level of decent gameplay, I would best be served sticking with melee, in which case I would float around all the melee specs and shit. And then it would just come down to, alright, well, Enhanced Shaman's the season 1 meta pick for melee for the most part, right? So cool, you're just making Enhanced Shaman videos and stuff. And there's precedent for that. It's just I also happen to agree with you where I'm not 100% sure. 3-minute guides for flavor of the month sounds pog though. That could be true. I could maintain most of my guides around warrior, but then quick 3-minute guides on flavor of the month melee specs would be pretty good. If like the top 2 were like rogue and enhanced shaman, then I could make little mini guides on them. That would probably be pretty poggers. Yeah, no, you might be right, actually. It'd be very interesting. You're giving me a lot of ideas. Let's go back to the other thing. Actually, I'm gonna hearth, so at least I'm safe, because we'll probably wrap up soon. It is getting quite late and I have work tomorrow. You mean in general, like the, yeah, Nino MMO or whatever his name was? Yeah, Nino MMO. His guides are very short and concise and really cool. Like, we'll just go back. I just want to watch his Fury video on Nino MMO Fury guide. Some of it is like a little bit over the top, but I generally really like the...
Welcome to my no bullshit basic Fury Warrior guide for the War Within. Fury Warriors are heavy button spammy, fast paced melee damage dealers. The playstyle is pretty simple.
See, like, I wouldn't feel obligated to make too much fluff in terms of like explaining what a Fury Warrior is, because I think people that would come to the video aren't the type of people that need to know what a Fury Warrior is, if that makes sense, right?
Simple. Keep your enrage buff up, get rage and dump it into rampage.
Whereas shit like that, those graphics and the extra attention to detail is 100% really cool, and that's what I need to start learning and practicing.
Now, let's talk talents. In the War Within, we can choose between Mountain Thane and Slayer as hero talent trees. To keep things simple, I will only cover Slayer here, since it performs better at single target, while only being slightly worse in multi-target situations.
This is where I would probably disagree with. I think it's important to show both angles and why they're good. So if I did like a quick fire guard like this, I would probably always explain the difference between the two. Good at making visuals so you talk less and move on faster. 100%, completely
We have
agree.
tons of options with our talents, but to get you started, here are 2 talent trees. One for pure single target and another one for Mythic Plus or Dungeons. We have one main rule.
I think this is where you can double down on content pretty well, right? If you were to make a melee guide that's this style, a quick, very short, brief, high octane, kind of fast paced, here's the basic shit you need to know, and throw a couple of links to talent trees in the thing. Do that for every single melee spec, right? But then have an additional video where you can have like a 25-minute long video where you're actually going into, these are the talents, this is why you pick these talents, this is how they interact with each other, these are some alternatives you can do, but if you do XYZ, then you have to change out ABC because that's how they, you know what I mean? You can have the more in-depth kind of discussion-y guides behind the builds and how it works and how to get the most out of it, while also still having these super good, fast-paced, quick info dumps. Just copy pasted the small guides into one big one. What, like? Well, that's fucking horrible. I could not imagine clicking on a video and being like, all melee specs in 11.1, like quick fire round guides, and then you have, I think there's 13 melee specs in total, and you just blast through all of them in like 2 minutes. So it's like a 20-minute video of just constantly, Unholy DK, this is the talents, this is how you play it, boom, alright, next, Frost DK, this is the talents. It's like, that would be hilarious. I'd actually wonder how well it would do. It would probably do shit, right? That sounds absolutely horrible. But I had considered the idea of, I do very well at melee specs, and most of my melee specs are very homogeneous across each other, where I can pick them up relatively well. The biggest struggle I've had with some of them has probably been Outlaw Rogue, because it's very ineffectual. Like there's a lot of spinning plates on a Outlaw Rogue, where it's like, oh, if ABC, then you need to hit X, but you only hit X when D is available, but D only gets available when A and B are together, but not when B's by itself. And then, you know, there's this 1, 2, 3 over here, but then on 4 combo points you do B, but then on 5 combo points you do C, and you know what I mean? There's so many like intricate little things, and Outlaw Rogue can be quite hard to get the most you know, efficacy out of, whereas even at 80% capacity, I mean, gear just makes it pretty good. So that would be the hardest one to kind of do. But I do think there's a lot of area of videos just for the PTR side of things as just a warrior. And then maybe you could sort of focus on a couple of flavor of the month shit for different classes. So if I always play warrior no matter what, but then I spend some of my time on maybe the top other flavor of the month spec, right? For melee. Spec for melee. So it could be like, oh, this season it happens to be Outlaw Rogue, or Enhanced Shaman, right? So there's definitely areas for that. I like the idea of having quick fire, short guides, then longer form, intricate, detailed guides. I think that's probably smart. Just make all good guides, because I don't watch them through and I just thumbs up and leave. In that case, then I'll just make 13 every melee spec guides, quick fire rounds, and then make 13 every melee spec detailed discussion guides. And then I'll make a super melee guide of like 1 hour long. And yeah, make it like the mega compilation where you just speed run all 13 specs, and yeah. We'll just do that. That seems reasonable. Just get all the fucking shit out there. But I think that's like a good foundation of what to start thinking about ready for 11.1, because even the PTR cycle should still have about a month left that I could go in and get footage enough and start making these type of videos. So I think that's probably the gameplay, and you might be right. My only worry is just how deep down the rabbit hole of alts do I want to go. And that's where I'm not 100% sure. Because let's have a look. We're just going to jump onto retail real quick. I can get all the classes back, so I'm not really too worried. But I had done a bit of pruning. Where I was like, with so many max level characters, I get distracted of like, oh, I want to play the rogue for a bit, but then I sink time and money and effort into getting that up, and then I'm like, oh, but this other spec is better, and then I do that, and blah blah blah, and I end up, yeah, divulging my time across too many different characters that I want to fuck around with, instead of focusing in on certain ones. So, realistically speaking, it's like, how many can you sort of cull by nature of the fact that you probably wouldn't play it anyway? I'll give you an example. I will never play a Warlock and I'll never play a Shadow Priest. Just not into those type of casters and stuff, right? However, the other ones are up for debate. And that's kind of difficult sometimes to actually log into retail. Yeah, Pog, dude, Pog. So this is where it's like, all right, I could get my DH and my Druid that used to be my main. I was tanking on the Druid this season, and it has what? Tanking on the Druid this season has truly made me go, I just want to stick to melee. If I were to do any range for whatever reason, Mage would be the go-to, and I need a cloth class, maybe. I don't even know if I need a cloth class, to be honest. Intellectually in my head, I'm going, I should have a cloth class, so that way all my cloth transmogs get used by something. But yeah, outside of that though, I could just peel everything back out. And yeah, there's a lot of deleted characters. Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that. It's because I get like, I feel stuck. Where it's like I've hit my max that I can do in Mythic Plus because there's no groups going, or the guild that I was in. Like there was this weird balance where we're trying to get the guild that I was in to play with each other more, but the skill disparity was a lot, which is the whole reason why I left them. And they're all really good mates, IRL mates as well, but I was like, I want more out of my gameplay time, and I'm not enjoying being stuck at the same level and not improving. So it's just Coom Chain, yeah. That was an in-house joke with the guild that they were like, oh, fucking Kill Chain more like Coom Chain or whatever. And they were like, oh, you should name your paladin Coom Chain. And I had a name change icon. And I was like, hey, alright, fuck it, I'll do it. So it was a bit of a meme. So I got to rename that fucker for sure. But yeah, I could have every melee spec covered. And I could make the quickfire guides. I would feel confident that I at least half know what I'm talking about with 90% of them. Maybe certain styles of DH, I wouldn't... even the momentum DH stuff isn't really too hard to wrap my head around, to be honest. It's not that bad. I would say... The only one that really is the Outlaw Rogue thing. There's a lot of intricacy to Outlaw Rogues, which I wouldn't feel entirely 100% kind of fucking confident on. But yeah, everything else would be fine. My webcam intermittently freezes. I do need to get a new webcam. This webcam is really good. It's like a good, decent 1080p 60 frames per second one. But it has been a bit dicky lately, and I'm not 100% sure why. Whereas I wouldn't mind getting a studio light, like a key light or something. I need to get a stream deck, and I wouldn't mind a proper camera instead of a webcam all the time. Turn that into feet cam. Oh, damn. Gotta get those OnlyFans fucking dollars coming in. But yeah. I could make the warrior the main and then just happen to focus on maybe one or two other classes that are melee specs that are in the flavor of the month category. So case in point for this season would be Enhanced Shaman as an example, right? Because they typically, yeah, are in the best spot for that. So that I wouldn't be against, because then it gives you a decent plethora of content to do. And that could get me through the door in terms of like credibility and things like that. I think that might be the play. And then whenever WoW's in its downtime, I just stream PoE 2 for fun and don't necessarily have to make videos on it. unless if it's like stream highlights, which I also think is fun. So yeah, maybe that's kind of the goal. But unfortunately at the moment, yeah, most people are pretty dead in the WoW space at the moment. I wouldn't mind hitting 3k for this season on this warrior, so I should probably start getting back into it, to be honest. Oh, there's a few people in the guild. The guild's been dead for a while over that Christmas break and shit. Let's have a look at, I don't even remember how to push all the correct buttons because I'm in PoE 2 mode and shit. How many people would be... See, this isn't bad. There's a decent number gone. It's also completely off time at the moment. But yeah, there's only literally 2 groups of OC guilds groups running at the moment. And this was my biggest problem that I had, was this feels very dead. And it's also, what, 10:30 at night, so it's actually 12:30 over Eastern States at the moment, so... Maybe your local college has a 8-month certificate for graphic design or video editing you could do to use for content creating. I live in the middle of the country, so that's going to be a bit of a bitch. Like, yeah. We have one supermarket, a lot of red dirt and trees and thunderstorms and rocks, and about 4,000 people living here. Online classes will be the way to go for sure. And I think if I did some sort of online video editing course and whatever, I'd even consider doing that in my spare time for AI as well, like learning how to do AI coding, because that will be very, very future-proofed as like an investment in terms of learning. But video editing would probably be smart, I feel like, in some way. Learning Python or whatever AI uses, I don't know. I've never done coding or anything like that, but I know I'm generally pretty smart and pick shit up pretty quick. Whereas, yeah, I'll do something like that for sure. Whereas from a video perspective, it would be nice to find an online course for video editing. I just, 1, don't know where to look, and 2, yeah, just not really sure, to be honest. But machine learning uses Python. Yeah, there you go. Well, that is something that has been on the forefront of my mind a lot lately, is because like AI ain't going anywhere, and now would be the time to genuinely do some sort of a couple of online courses about AI and shit, AI coding and programming and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, in terms of that, I think all in all, it seems reasonable that we'll double down on WoW. Do best as possible for Mythic Plus stuff. Really try and focus on getting like good credibility there with higher IO and stuff. And I think we're just gonna have to focus on the warrior because that's good breadth of population. It's like the 3rd highest played spec at the moment, so that's good. And then it's just a matter of maybe augmenting that with 1 or 2 other classes. But a certificate would help with the channel, and also a piece of paper showing you know something for anyone else down the line. That's true. What would this certificate help with the channel? I see the value in showing help for other people down the line, but how would it help my channel? Do you just mean by nature of what you learn it will help my own editing and stuff? I assume that's what you mean. It's just the way that I read the whole, like, the certificate would be helpful. Is I'm like, well, I'm not putting this certificate in my bio or something, you know what I mean? Help with the, yeah, I think that's very true. There's a lot of learning much more about video editing techniques and graphic design for thumbnails and things like that. And even to a lesser extent, like social media kind of management or whatever the buzz phrase I'm trying to find, but certain better ways of how to kind of treat the whole ecosystem to help yeah, kind of gain traction for sure. But either way, I think it's been a good brainstorming session, so thank you very much, Ricky. You've given me a lot to think about. I think we can, yeah, some sort of marketing set, yeah, for 100% for sure. I feel like those are areas that I wouldn't mind doing, and that could be something that I'll do during that time off. So if I can do some online courses and take a gap year, where I basically have freedom to micromanage my entire day how I want it. There'll obviously be some caveats where I'd have to like cook dinner and deal with the kids and do like after school sports and stuff if that was relevant. But I would get basically most of the morning and then the afternoon, and then have the opportunity to still do some stuff at night. But again, part of me goes, okay, if let's say tomorrow I just got the freedom to do a part-time course online, and over the 12 months, the first 3 months are marketing, the first 3 months are like video editing stuff, and then there's a bracket for marketing, and then there's another one about AI or whatever. So my 12 months has got some sort of part-time, course to do over the 12 months. Cool, that's fine. And I can do that maybe a couple nights a week or whatever. Cool. I'm like, all right, during the day, do I use that time for the streams and then do some videos at night? Or do I try and go back to like the morning gyms, which I really loved. I do really love the morning gyms when I get into that rhythm and my body's just like, ding, all right, I'm awake at 4:30. It's so fucking good. I loved that life. But then I wouldn't be able to stay up that late at night because I'll be dead tired by like 8:30 or 9. But then I wouldn't have time to stay up late to do editing. Or if I'm getting up at 4:30 in the morning though, go to the gym, be back by 5:30, and then I can do video editing from 5:30 to 7 or 7:30, and then take the kids to school, then do the streaming during the day. So I do video editing in the morning when everyone's asleep, stream during the day, and then do coursework at night. Yeah. Okay, dude, go kill harmless spiders. Oof, not anymore. They're all dead, dude. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's where I'm kind of like, my mind's ticking over and all those kind of things. Though I would definitely love to have a look at part-time video editing courses of some description and see, yeah, how good that would be. Especially because you can use that for what we have is like Oz Study and stuff. I think it's Oz Study. I might be getting the word wrong. We do have like study incentives through our government that'll help give you to them cheaper and that kind of shit. And you get your Centrelink payments and stuff while you're studying, which could be an option as well. Well, then look into it. I'll do that over the next couple of days, I reckon, just to get an idea of where we're at. But apart from that, I reckon, yeah, retail's the way to go. Deep Dick the Warrior and maybe one or two other melee classes. And yeah, you've given me a lot of good guidance, so thank you very much. I will yeah, hopefully catch you tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Tuesday. Maybe not tomorrow because it's like maintenance night, so I usually try and keep Tuesdays as like date night, so maybe we'll watch a TV show or something. All right, have the video up by next week. All right, that seems reasonable. What video though? The PTR stuff, right? I'll do my first PTR video. All right, a week from today, we'll make sure that PTR video is up on a particular dungeon or some shit. All right, sounds like a plan. Thanks for dribbling shit with me, dude, and I'll catch you